Okay, today I'm doing a very tight, shortened version for everybody who does not have an attention span and wants to know how to make their Formica look like granite. This is the finished countertop. I have a much longer video, 41 minutes, if you want to see much more in detail, but this is meant to be a very quick, for those who are like, 10 minutes of my time is too long to spend watching a how-to video. Here it is. Okay, so this was a cream-colored, ugly Formica countertop. This is what you need to get. Oil-based, original kills. Get a roller, the foam, not the one with the nap, and you're going to want to sand. I used 150 medium. Sand to prep, wipe it off with a damp towel, get all that sandy grit off, clean, clean, clean surface. Go in with your oil base. Don't wait for this to cure or even dry. You can still do it while it's tacky. In fact, it's better if it's done when it's tacky. This is the Craft Smart Black Matte. You're gonna wanna get a sponge. If you wanna spend the money for the sponge that they have at the craft stores, they're the artist sponges, go right ahead. Me, I don't have that kind of money. I went to the dollar store. This was a round sponge in the bath section. What I did was I squeezed it, I took the kitchen scissors and just cut into it, and then I cut it in half. Here is what you're ending up with. There is no wrong way, just cut into the sponge, but you want to have a larger one like this for the black going down onto the white. Then cut yourself up some smaller pieces of sponge. Again, it doesn't matter how you cut it. There is no wrong way to do this. Doesn't have to be exactly like mine. Just cut or tear apart and just have smaller for your different layers. Now, if you want to know what colors I used, I started with the darker one, the brushed pewter metallic Martha Stewart, went around with that, then moved up to titanium. I have a sterling and I had a pearl, and then just to make it look natural, and I want it, now you figure out what kind of color tone you want in there, because some of them have those reddish tones, some of them have those bluish tones. Because of what I'm doing in the kitchen, I'm partway through renovating, I wanted to have greenish tones. So I went with the Folk Art Mossy Meadow and Thicket. These are non-metallic satin finish. And those, again, with the smaller sponge, just hints, not too much green. You want to stick with mostly being the grays, blacks, silvery. If you want this look, you do what you need to do. Then when you finish, once you've got all your colors down, and there'll be very little white showing, you're gonna go with your black, again with your large sponge, you're gonna go over it again. Then the polyurethane is oil-based polyurethane. You're working in a kitchen with wet surfaces. It just made sense to me to go with the oil-based. Now, I know this was acrylic paint on top of an oil-based paint. Trust me, it works because it wasn't completely dry when you're putting it on. It works. You let this dry, and then you put on your first coat of polyurethane. Thin coat for your first coat. Then, and this is critical, 220 sandpaper. Lightly go over it with a tiny bit of a dampish cloth. Get all the sand off, and then go for your second coat. 3 to 4 hours between coats. I did 3 coats. I recommend the 3 coats. Now, I'm gonna add in, on the end of this, I'm gonna give you little snippets from my longer video just to let you see some of the technique I used and how this progressed. But there you have it. Beautiful granite looking countertop without the expense of granite. Got on the cruddy old paint clothes, ready to go. So what she did, she said, just cut out pieces of sponge to make a pattern. Doesn't matter what you do. Just cut out chunks. There's no wrong way to cut the sponge. And she cut hers in half. I'm going to do the exact same thing, because one half she used for the large black, the other cut up more and used for the accent colors. Mush it up. This is what I'm doing. No actual pattern. Okay, this is just a hint of this mossy green. So I'm tapping ever so lightly. So I'm just letting that soak up as much as it wants. Again, I did not, because this is oil based, I did not dampen the sponge. I'm going to start at this end. It says apply a thin first coat. So here is a closer look at the actual finish, just to give everybody an idea of what close-up will look like. And as an aside, I figured out what we're going to do for the black backsplash. I have crackled these from the dollar store. Got a little video out about fried marbles. Had never heard of them. tried it out with these. I got a bag of these at the dollar store. They were just plain glass, and I crackled them. And so these are what we're going to be using for the backsplash. And watch for that video, please.